Hi everybody, and welcome to this edition of the SoCal Prep Report. Rich Estrella along with Mo Orr, Bob Gibson, and Randy Rosenbloom will join us shortly with the city section update. But right now, guys, week 6 is concluded. Before we get into the No Love Club, let's talk about Mater Dei IMG, man.
What we want to talk about that for?
Well, yeah, that was
You guys out of your mind?
Who?
Well, Bob.
Was there a big game?
Bob didn't watch the game, number one. We know Bob didn't watch it.
Yes, I watched the game.
And Mo, I know you were there because I got video when you were there, and I saw the big fight in the stands. Looked like
Did
a
you see
Raider
that?
game. Yeah, it looked like a
Yeah,
Raider game.
It was
man.
a Raider game. It was a Raider game. It was
no fight.
awesome.
I'm just kidding. That's just a joke.
Kids getting thrown out of the game on both. On the IMG side, there was about 7,000 yards and penalties, I think.
Both teams,
in
though.
That one,
I'll tell you what, guys. The difference in this game was discipline. IMG had 2 guys kicked out for unsportsmanlike. 2. And what cracked me up was the second kid that got kicked out, number 5, was having a fit. I do 5 or 15. I can't remember. It had a 5 on him. But anyways, he literally pulls the face mask of the Mater Dei player on the sideline while the ref's trying to break it up. And as he walks away, he grabs it. And when the ref does another one of these, that's a second personal foul. You're out. And he was like, oh, what'd I do? What'd I do? Come on, man. Are you serious?
What did I do?
Are you serious? I wonder if when you have that many good athletes in one place, if it's just hard to control the asylum.
Well, the good news was the game itself lived up to the hype. You're right. I mean,
How could it not, Bob?
Well, it could have easily been a bomb, but you're right. I mean, the hype, just all everybody, all the feelings and going into it. And everybody
Sometimes
was
it doesn't live up to the hype.
Everybody was tightly wound going into this one, right? And we know IMG was posting some videos.
Yeah,
and they were ready to go. And
see, that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. Rawlinson would have fired those kids.
He would have fired them.
Would have taken their scholarships away from them. Heck yeah.
Look, it was an awesome game. I can tell you by the first half, it was 7-6 IMG, right? You had more penalties. It was 18 total penalties in the first half than you did points. But the second half,
it settled down.
They brought it. They settled down. They talked about it during the halftime show, what those coaches must have said to those kids to get them hyped up for the second half. Came out, scored some nice little touchdowns. Awesome game.
Well, IMG was having their way for a while. IMG was just running the ball up and down the field. They were having their way on there. But Mater Dei did not. This is a Mater Dei thing. They did not panic, and I think that's really the hallmark of these great Bruce Rollins and Mater Dei teams. They never panic, right? They get in these tough games.
Don't need to. They have so much talent.
You have so much talent. You're right, but IMG has all the hype behind them, right? The hype machine was behind IMG. Mater Dei, they're the defending national champions, but not quite the hype that IMG gets. But I'll tell you, Bruce Rawlinson, I think, won the coaching battle between the two coaches. I thought he had a better game plan going in, and it certainly proved out in the end with the way Mater Dei was able to pull this one out.
I just think the discipline was superior on Mater Dei's side. And that's the long and short
I
of it.
will say, from the start of the game, 3 hours before the game started, you see them out there practicing and getting ready and warming up, and the IMG guys were still talking as if they were on Instagram. Mater Dei was not responding. One thing that IMG said is, "We're here." And the last thing I heard Mater Dei say is, "We know. We'll see you on the field."
And the one, we were talking about this before the show tonight, but Bryce Young and the junior really just stepped up and really grew into his own here, I think. And Bryce Young now is going to just burst on the national scene now, not just the local scene. We know about Bryce Young nationally. Everybody knows about Bryce Young now.
They were trying to get his goat a little bit, hitting him late, saying stuff to him, talking after the play and everything, but he wasn't taking any of the bait. He just kept it cool, man. For a junior, I got to give it to that kid. A lot of respect. That was a big game, a lot of pressure. And then having to deal with that, the extracurricular stuff, didn't let it get to him. Won the game, and Mater Dei continues on. But again, the next fight will be with Bosco. To win this national championship there, Bosco and Mater Dei are going to lock it up at least two times this year to win that. And we'll see what happens. If they split, we're going to have a debate now.
Can I bring up the fact, though, that Centennial controls their own destiny?
Well,
can we just talk about Cremona Centennial and the fact that if don't discount them, they could have a say in this whole thing. They could beat somebody along the way. They could beat Bosco or Mater Dei in the semis or something. They could get to a final, win out, and they could be national.
We're talking in the immediate situation right now.
I got you, but I don't want to discount what Centennial.
Bosco and Mater Dei have to mix it up in 2 weeks from this weekend. Okay, so that's going to be number 1. Then they're going to get in the playoffs, and Mater Dei is going to be seeded number 1. Bosco is going to be seeded number 2, pretty much. and then they're going to meet again probably at the end if Centennial does not indeed beat one of them. Now, it's not far-fetched that Centennial could beat Bosco. They've done it before 2 years ago, and they beat them badly. They could have scored 100 points in that game. Bosco returned the favor last year, although Cremona Centennial lost their stud quarterback, one of the top recruits in the country, a 6'6" quarterback that could see over everybody and was killing everybody. Right. He couldn't play in that game against Bosco, and Bosco only beat him like by 28.
Right.
That quarterback's worth at least 40 points. That guy was putting up
around.
50 a game.
Only 28.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Trust me. So it's not far-fetched as he says. All right, let's take a look at the top 10 and see what's happening. Oh, no, No Love Club. I'm sorry. Take a look at the No Love Club before we get to that.
I was about to say, you're not going to give the No Love Club no love?
That's what happens to them.
Again, they're not getting any love,
no
right?
love from Rich?
All right, everybody in the No Club
Mater
either
Dei,
had a bye. Catella, Garfield, South Hills, Sunny Hills, Heritage Christian, Brentwood, Alhambra. I was going to say Alabama, but they wouldn't be at the bottom. Anyways, all these guys won last week. Sunny Hills only won the blemish, but it's Sunny Hills, man.
It's Sunny Hills. You
It's
have to
Sunny
give them
Hills.
some love,
Are you
Rich.
kidding me?
Sunny Hills football team is 4-1. That is news.
Now everybody's in league within reason. Sunny Hills starts this week with Buena Park. I don't know what's going to happen. I should have talked to Anthony White about this game, but I didn't. But anyways,
I got the inside scoop.
go ahead. Talk to me.
Buena Park!
No.
Buena Park is going to win this game.
The Coyotes are going to howl. Huh?
I already told you.
All right.
All right. I'm going to go. I think Sunny Hills puts 40 on Buena Park. Buena Park might score 21. They might. We'll see what happens.
There's that prediction. I like
Listen,
that
Sunny Hills hasn't beaten Buena Park since
Right.
Buena Park got good when Anthony White was
since
there.
the Taft
about 10
administration,
years.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, let's go to the top 10 real quick. Take a look. Of course, Mater Dei Bosco are going to head this list, followed by Cremona Centennial. Mission Viejo just continues to beat everybody.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
do.
they just beat them. They beat them badly. Although this weekend with Orange Lutheran, it was a very good game. Orange Lutheran, despite being 3-2, Orange Lutheran has lost to two top 10 teams in the country. That's why with a 3-2 record, they are number 5. All
Mo,
right?
you want to handle
I
this
don't know.
Come on, Mo.
Look, Oaks
gotta
Christian,
get in there, Mo.
6-0. Jay Sarah. Why don't we go ahead? I would say we would put Orange Lutheran or probably down at the number 7 spot.
Why
and
would you
move
do that?
Everybody else up.
Why?
And let Jay Sarah, Orange Lutheran, battle it out for the SoCal Prep Report.
Now,
Well, they will
Number
play each
5.
other.
but
They
you have to
will
look
get
at
a chance.
Oldie's schedule. Do you think Oaks Christian and Jay Sarah are going to beat Cremona Centennial? Straight up. No.
No.
Orange Lutheran played them for a half. And a good half. But again, they played, and again, losing to Mission Viejo. Do you think Oaks Christian and Jay Sarah are going to beat Mission Viejo? No, they're not going to beat them.
It could
Therefore, they
happen.
cannot jump.
Well, I think
How come they're not playing the top tier teams in the country then, just the way Orange Lutheran has?
Well, I think Orange Lutheran has a better path to our SoCal Prep Report top 5, but I would say make them work for it. I'm going to put them down at number 7.
What do you mean? They
I'm gonna
have
make them
been
work
working
it.
for it. You can't play any better teams than you have been playing to get there.
You have to ask
Are you
how-
kidding me?
How much better do you think Jay Sarah is than Santa Margarita? Because Mission Viejo destroyed Santa Margarita, a Trinity League team. So what do you think Jay Sarah would do with Mission Viejo?
Yeah, what do you think? I think Mission Viejo destroys them.
I think Jay Sarah beat them by 4 points. We're going to see.
I think Jay Sarah would play Mission
We're
Viejo
talking
very
tough
close.
for a lot of guys that
I think
aren't
that'd be a
strapping
fun
it up
game.
anymore,
I think that'd be a
man.
fun
Make
game.
me put the helmet
Okay,
on.
Villa Park, Upland, and Servite in that order right there. Servite this week, it's a tough one for them. Let's just leave it at that.
They play Mater Dei, right?
Yeah,
Good
they
enough.
are. They're playing Mater Dei. But see, that could be a trap game for Mater Dei
Could be a
because
trap
after
game.
last week's win,
The return of Troy Thomas?
yeah, and Servite's just licking their chops at the possibilities, my brothers.
Of course they are.
All right. Plus, Mater Dei already got beat by Bishop Amont, right?
Well,
Whoa.
All right, I'm just
Kinda.
kidding.
Sorta.
That's just on paper. That was
Technically.
a paper.
That's kind of like a
clerical
roughing
error.
the passer penalty.
Yeah, thank you.
Clerical
Thank you.
error, my friend.
Let's Clay Matthews about that one.
Anyways, all right. So there is our top 10, my brothers. So what are you thinking, man? Pretty good representation, huh?
I think we did a pretty good job. I'll call it a little blemish. You know, I'll take the 3-2, but Jay Sarah.
Look who they played. National powers. Mission Viejo's like number 14 this week. Think about that.
I think that's the Oaks has like one really good win on their schedule, but Oaks
Who
doesn't
was
have
that?
a lot of good wins on
Don't
their
say
schedule.
Almany.
They beat Alamany.
Get
It's still
outta here.
Alamany.
Oh.
It's still Alamany, isn't it?
Right.
Do I need to walk off this set? You're going to call that a good win?
All right, good night.
It's a win. I give it to you. It used to be a great win.
Well, you're right.
It used to be a great win.
a great matchup. And
I
that's
don't
just a
know
pretty
about
good
it
one.
now. I have no idea about it now.
Well, I'm going to ruffle some feathers every time I'm on the show, just so Rich knows. I saw that and I was like,
All right, we're going to bring you guys back in a minute. We're going to talk about the games to preview this week. Don't forget, league gets started. Right now, let's take a look and let's talk about our sponsors. Throw it up there. All right. Take a look at the Yard House in Brea. Don't forget, they are on Brea Boulevard, right there off Imperial Highway. Man, you got to go in there. They got so much good food and spirits, soft drinks, everything you can think of. And, of course, the KM3 Project. KM3 Project is a cancer charity. They help people live with cancer. They don't donate any of their money to science. And, of course, the Jerky Zone, great beef jerky. All types, all sizes, all kinds of crazy stuff. And they fundraise for high school sports. Doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. It certainly does that. And then the North American Scholastic Esports Federation. That's the OC High School Esports from last year where they had the competitions, the first one of its kind. They are a sponsor here of the SoCal Prep Report. Let's talk about City Section. Randy, what's going on this week?
Well, I always have to talk about Narbonne. I mean, the Gauchos are coming off a really nice victory over Lawndale, and that's why they're still #1 in my prep poll in the City Section. But the team that made the greatest move is San Fernando. They clobbered an undefeated Reseda team. They scored 59, 52 in the first half. They were led 52-0 at halftime. They were never stopped. They used 7 men in their offensive line. You talk about ground and pound. The Tigers did just that. Garfield's going to go undefeated. There's nobody in the Eastern League that can compete with them. They're #3. Eagle Rock's another team that's unbeaten. Great quarterback, terrific team. So that's a terrific top 10 right now. The one team that's not in there, just off my board, is Westchester, who's undefeated. And also Venice is very exciting. Luca Diamant led them to a rally last week. They were down by 3 touchdowns in the second half. He throws a ton of touchdowns, mostly to Chad Johnson, and they rally to beat Paramount.
You also got to give it to Venice, though, because they pretty much take on all comers. Venice plays a pretty good schedule every year, Randy.
They really do. Angelo Gasca likes to play top-ranked teams. He loves playing Southern Section powerhouses. They've played Newbury Park. They've played some really good teams. The problem for Venice is defense. They don't stop a lot of people, but they really outscore you. I believe they're the most entertaining, exciting team in all of Southern California. I'm not saying they're the best team, but the most fun to watch.
Well, they throw the ball around a lot. They have some really historically, Venice has some good quarterbacks, and they will let it fly. And that's Coach. That's what he likes. He likes to open it up.
Yeah, he does. It's out of the shotgun and go. The Diamants are great. Xander, the younger brother, now Luca is there. Xander was there previously. They've had great quarterbacks there. Angelo's a hometown guy. He played at Venice. He loves his school. He's the coach, and they air it out.
Let's talk about matchups this week. What's going on this week, man? We're in the league now, right?
Yeah, we're in the league. Yeah, and you look at those 2 games up there, and that's the Marine League. And you look at the Marine League, Carson I have in my top 10. I have San Pedro in my top 10. To me, that's the second place game probably. Whoever wins that's going to get in the open division. Then below it, Narbonne, a challenge going to Banning. But Narbonne is Narbonne. They've played the terrific schedule. They still have the best athletes in the entire LA.
They certainly do. Oh, they do, Randy. We saw that game with them, and I'm just impressed from top to bottom. It's just taking a lot of hits right now. With, you know, you're going to get some players back coming up this week and next week, and things are going to be peachy keen.
And a lot of people thought the city was down this year, but if you look at the entire body, it's not. It's just a simple fact that Carson has moved up out of the Marine League, and the Coliseum League is down. And that's Dorsey and Crenshaw.
Yeah.
And who would have thought at this point of the year, I know Crenshaw won on the field against Fairfax, but they had an ineligible player, that those 2 teams combined would be 0-10. That's probably never happened. Their numbers are low at the schools. They're young teams. They'll do well in their league. But 0-5 for both of them is remarkable.
Unbelievable. As far as performance of this last week, what school impressed you the most or surprised you the most this past weekend?
Probably San Fernando with that outburst, the 52 points in the first half.
Very uncanny for them, huh?
Yeah, Reseda came in 5-0. Reseda, and I said it on the show last week, was playing better than the Tigers going in. Now, at the beginning of the year, the Tigers were the favorite.
Right.
But San Fernando put it all together, and to lead 52-0 at half is a remarkable accomplishment against a good football team. I do want to mention girls volleyball. We're at that time of the year where it's starting to really come together. And Taft High School I have as my #1. These are the 8 teams I think that'll be in the open division, certainly at this point. Taft, Granada Hills, certainly out of the West Valley League. Armand Mercado does a great job with Taft. Tom Harp is the head coach and a legendary guy at Granada Hills. And you can see Cleveland also out of that league, as is Chatsworth. Then there's the Marine League schools, Carson, very, very solid, and they own a big victory out of league against Palisades. And it's interesting as you look at San Pedro and Narbonne, they've played 3 times in less than a year, once in the playoffs. All 3 matches went 5 sets.
Wow.
All 3 times the Pirates beat them.
Wow, outstanding. Well, it's interesting. High school volleyball alive and well. I'm surprised, though, in the national scheme of things, I saw maybe 1 or maybe 2 teams in the top 10, 12 in the nation.
No, we don't have that in the city this year. I mean, Narbonne was close last year. They were really talented.
In general, Randy, but even in Southern and CIF, I know you follow it all, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, I just think the city's not quite there yet. Again, a lot of their numbers have been diminished with more schools in the area. I do think now Narbonne, they just got replenished. They had transfers come in, even since the game when you saw them at Cremona Centennial. Garcia, the quarterback's in. Penny's a great running back. Josh Johnson on defense. None of those guys played a couple weeks ago. They're starting to play better. They're the team that's still on the rise, even though they're the best program in the LA City section in football.
All right, Randy, looking forward to a competitive week coming up, especially with the schools battling out. Despite what you did in the preseason, doesn't mean anything now. You just got to win your league now. It's your second chance here.
Yeah, you got to win the league, and it's a lot of fun because I think the city is strong. Again, the difference, people look at the city and they go, where's Dorsey, where's Crenshaw? That's a little strange.
All right, thanks, Randy. All right, now let's take a look at the national scene with our correspondent, Josh Booty. Josh coaches at Cornerstone Christian in Texas, but he's in Southern California to take on Paraclete this week. Josh Booty, thanks for joining us.
Man, Rich, I appreciate it. It's always fun. The Skype experience is awesome, and we can't wait to play this week against Paraclete. We've got a team here, Cornerstone Christian, and really its first year of football, and we're making the trek to California, and we brought the troops, so we're pretty anxious for Thursday night.
Yeah, congrats on opening the new school, man. All right, let's get into the national top 10. The big game this past weekend was Mater Dei IMG. I know you saw that game. What are your thoughts coming away from that game?
Oh, well, just the way that the team came together. Mater Dei, of course, they got to play a home game. IMG had to travel across country, and IMG was on a 41-game win streak. The coach there, the head coach, had not lost a ball game. So for Mater Dei and Bruce Rollison to pull off that win was pretty epic. I mean, the game came down to a tackle-eligible play for a touchdown. I thought Bryce Young played fantastic. Throughout the game. Their defense was in a slugfest because of the tailbacks that IMG had. I thought their quarterback was subpar on last Friday night, IMG's QB, but I really thought Mater Dei stepped it up when they needed to. They played a good fourth quarter, and they came out victorious. So I was very happy for Southern California football and to see them get the win. But Bryce Young played extraordinary, and Brew McCoy, what can you say? I mean, that kid can do it all, and he's about as good a high school player as you'll ever see.
So much talent on that field, Josh. I cannot remember, or can't even begin to think about what 2 teams offer that much D1 talent on the field. Mater Dei has some 21, 22 D1 guys, and IMG has 99 D1 guys. I mean, it was amazing. It was just amazing to see the talent. I think – go ahead, Josh.
No, I said no question. I mean, they were talking about on the telecast, they probably have more D1 or pro prospects, NFL prospects, than some of these big-time D1 college football games and Big 5 conferences. So, the amount of talent on the field was just incredible.
Now, this isn't over for Mater Dei. Just because they beat the alleged #1 team in the country, they still got Bosco. A lot of people are saying Bosco's #1. I love this little mix between the 3, the little vortex they're in. IMG is now out. It's up to Bosco and Mater Dei to settle this. And here's the problem with it. These guys are probably going to have to play twice. They're going to play once in their league, and they're probably going to play in the CIF finals.
Yeah, it happened last year. Yeah, we saw it happen last year. And then, there's other teams there in California, too, that are waiting in the wings. They're licking their chops at chances. You got Centennial Corona, and you mentioned them earlier off air. I mean, you just got so much talent in Southern California. And then if you get to play in the big game, you're probably going to face a De La Salle who, of course, has more tradition than just about anybody in high school football.
In the country, 151-game win streak, the Lattiser and all that. Legendary, man. All right, real quick, St. Louis, Hawaii continues to roll. St. John's, Washington, D.C., also with a big victory. Cremona Centennial, #5. Colquitt County, Georgia number 6. They're the top dog in Georgia, as we've talked about. De La Salle 7. Central Florida. Now, Central Florida, man, I mean, they do have one loss. It was overtime, but it was to I think it was Aquinas at the time, and they're ranked in the top 5 at the time. And so they're just having some really good games. Ellen, Texas has dropped a little bit, as has St. Francis, only because, man, the lack of a schedule, Josh. Got to have a schedule to be in this top 10.
Yeah, I looked at both of their schedules. St. Francis has only played one game. Now, you mentioned it off there too. They had to deal with the hurricane, but not a lot of teams want to play them. They're an independent team. They've got just loads of talent. Last year they had a phenomenal season. They're 1-0. They play Life Christian this week, a team out of Virginia. We actually played them week 1 and came away with the win. I think St. Francis really gets after them this week. Now, Allen, Texas is a team that I would not want to play, and that's because of their history. Their head coach is 34-1 in the 3 seasons he's been there. They have 25,000 people come to their games. They've got 600 band members, Rich. It's crazy. I was at their opening. Yeah, I was at their opening game at their stadium when they opened it 3 years ago. 29,000 people. They played South Lake Carroll. Kyler Murray was the quarterback at Allen, Texas. But what they've done since the opening of the stadium and really the past decade is Allen football is amazing. My high school went to Allen last year and played them. Allen waxed them pretty good, 24-7. But Allen is a team that last year they won, I think, the state title game against Lake Travis, who's always a top 25 team. They won the 6A title game last year in a nail-biter, 38-35, I believe. But Allen's always going to be there.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. Josh, congratulations on getting to Southern California back home to play a team paraclete. They're not going to be easy, but congrats, good luck, man. We'll check on your progress this upcoming Friday night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Rich. Always a pleasure to join you, and I can't wait for this week to unravel.
All right, everybody, welcome back. I got Bob and Mo with me. This is the 3 Stooges here. Okay, 2 Stooges and Mo right here. All right, let's take a look at some of the top games this week. Let's go and start off in the South Coast League. We got San Clemente and Tesoro. Now, the common denominator between San Clemente and Tesoro was the fact that San Clemente beat Edison by 7, 31-24, and Tesoro beat Edison 17-6. So 7-11 spread there. There's no real way to decipher who's going to win this game.
There is. San
Clemente's played a lot tougher schedule than Tesoro has,
right.
And that may be the difference in the records. What do you say, Bob?
I say San Clemente's going to pull the mild upset here. I think that's what people think is going to be an upset. I don't think it will be an upset that much. You're
Neither
right.
do I.
San Clemente has played the tougher schedule. San Clemente gets the win here.
So what is it going to be, 24-42 here, Mo?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Oh, no, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be 34-37 and going to win by a field goal.
Wow, really think that?
Yeah.
I love it. All right. With that, we'll move on.
I like this next matchup.
John Glenn of Norwalk playing their crosstown rival, Norwalk. Now, John Glenn's 3-3, Norwalk's 1-6. Why would we have this as the key game of the week? Well, I'll tell you why. John Glenn has not beaten Norwalk in about 35 years.
Wait, how long?
Friend. About 35 years. Probably 30.
Woo!
Be honest,
Maybe
about
30.
30 years. No, I'm not lying. I know for sure the last 25 they have not beaten Norwalk. This may be the year. This may be there because the competition Norwalk has played, it's not like they've been playing Mater Dei, Bosco, and Paramount every week. You know what I mean? They're playing teams that are their level,
right.
Okay? Then what you should do, by the way. But they're 0-6, man. And Glenn, for some reason, has a team. I mean, you look at some of these schools and you wonder what happened. Coaching change or what? Nah. I think the administration finally realized we better start helping out with the football program because they hadn't looked at it in so many years. I mean, there was been a couple years when Glenn didn't score a point.
Wow.
A point.
Isn't it about time
Full
this
season.
ends? Isn't it about time 30 years is long enough? Glenn gets the win here.
This is the Mayor's Cup. This is the Mayor's Cup, Mayor's Trophy, and I don't know why they're playing it the first, out of the chutes, first league game. Normally something like this is the last game. All the rivalry week is the last game.
Usually.
Well, I can honestly tell you that I know what Norwalk did actually with that Mayor's Cup. They have cemented it down into their little cabinet right there.
And why not?
It's not going to start this year.
Okay.
Glenn will lose to Norwalk by 18 points.
Okay, it'll be 31-year drought then if that's the truth of the matter.
All right.
I'm just saying, they played. Norwalk played the top 6 teams in the nation.
I think they're going to get the jackhammer out. They're going to get that trophy out of the case.
I do believe that this was the year that Glenn finally moved out of the Suburban League with Lamoureux, Artesia, Mayfair, and all those guys. So they're in the 605 League now, 605 Freeway League. But I don't think it matters. They're 3-3. It doesn't matter. It's the preseason. You play whoever you want. It's not changing much. So maybe they will break. I think it's one of the longest droughts in CIF history as far as the league rival goes, where you play every year. They're not league rivals anymore, but they're still playing the game. So interesting matchup. All right, continue on. Los Alamitos and Fountain Valley. Los Al, they're both 4-1, but Los Alamitos far and away played the better schedule than Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
I expect Los Al to win this ball game.
Don't forget, Los Al has a win over Long Beach Poly. And, Los Alamitos should win this.
Yeah, it's a 42-14 victory for Los Alamitos.
It probably will be somewhere in that neighborhood.
Good enough.
I don't even know why I said that, but I'll go with you, Mo. I just don't want to argue tonight, all right? I'm done arguing for the night. All right, let's go Downey and Paramount. San Gabriel Valley League matchup. This is a long ride. This is like the Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers, man. These guys go at it. They thump each other. Paramount and Downey. Downey's got a 2-3 record. Paramount 1-4. Why are we worrying about this game? I'll tell you why. Downey, in the preseason, they started with Rancho Santa Margarita, and they ended their preseason with Alemany, your favorite team, Bob.
Right.
You just said Alemany's winning CIF Southern Section Division I this year.
I predicted it.
So that's who Downey played this year. Downey played a ton of great schools in the preseason. Now, Paramount, by contrast, played nothing but Division I schools. Schools like Bishop Amat, Bakersfield, and St. John Bosco.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Paramount is 1-4 right now, because they went out and played a schedule. A schedule like that will get you into the state if you would have won 2 of 3 of those games. You know what I mean? But it didn't happen. All right, J. Sarah Bosco. J. Sarah's 6 wins. They're 6-0. Bosco is 5-0. Doesn't really matter about that. The bottom line is these guys are the Trinity League opener. Bosco is ranked big time in the country. J. Sarah is ranked little time in the country. But they're both actually in the top 25. Bosco, as we know, has been number 1 or number 2. Who do you guys like in this one and why? I'm sticking with Bosco. I'm a traditionalist.
I think J. Sarah will hang around for a half. When I mean they hang around, they'll be within 2 or 3 touchdowns, I think, at the half. But Bosco pulls away in the end and wins this one cruising.
Man, you never know. Sometimes you kind of look at me, Rich side-eyeing me like this.
I'm eyeballing him right now.
Bob's Cobbin looking at me like this with the side shoulder. But I'm going to tell you what. You can go ahead. If you have a problem with me, you can go ahead and SoCal Prep Report on Instagram or Twitter, YouTube it. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to end in a tie.
Woo! Really? Woo, a tie.
A tie.
Hold on.
A tie.
Just.
All right. Now listen.
All right, St. John Bosco by 25.
I was going to say, Mo doesn't really mean that. Unless anybody thought he did. He does not mean that. He's just being Mo right now. He's being a little cantankerous all day.
It might be 0-0 if they turn off the lights before the game or cut the cables. That's about it.
Might have a hurricane out here at St. John Bosco in Bellflower.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to do it for this edition of the SoCal Prep Report. Carlos Pena should be out of jail by next week, so we'll be able to get him back and do a high desert
bail.
report.
We'll
Nobody posts a bail for Carlos. Come on, man. We're fundraising with the Jerky Zone, man, to get him out of jail. Man.
That's
right.
Absolutely.
Get some of the good stuff.
All right, I'd like to say on behalf of Mo Orr, Bob Gibson, and our friend Brandon Rosenbloom, would like to say so long from your friends here at the SoCal Prep Report. I'm Rich Estrella. Join us next week. We'll be here. Like it or not. Good night, everybody.
Not.
Yeah. Good job, Mo.